Hey everyone, my name is Stephanie and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking about tips and tricks for online classes. I currently attend the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, and I've taken online classes for over 3 years. So I've learned what to do, what not to do, and overall I'm here to just share these tips with you all. And also, good luck with online classes during this pandemic. Alright, we'll get into the video. So I'm going to give a pre-tip before I give any other tips, and that is you are responsible for your education. When you're taking an online class, the learning style is completely different. Overall, you will be in charge of teaching yourself the material. So take ownership of that. If you do not understand something, that is not on your instructor, that is on you. You have the resources for it, so go ahead and email your instructor or your professor. And after you have that attitude and mentality that this is different, it's not the same as an in-person class, and I must take ownership and responsibility of how I learn, you will do great in this class. It all starts with your attitude. Alright, tip number 1, do not study or do your homework in bed. No. I have to write 2 pages? Alright, I'm just gonna see what grade I can get in this class if I maybe didn't do this assignment. No. No. Do your homework. No. 85. Steph, no. Alright, go to bed. It has been evidenced by the American College of Healthcare Sciences that studying and doing your homework in your bed, 1, decreases your productivity, and 2, hinders your sleep. Basically, your body associates your bed with rest. So it's very confusing for your body when you try to be productive in it in a place of rest, or once you create a place of productiveness in your bed, your body's gonna have a hard time choosing to rest rather than being productive. So, with that being said, create a productive atmosphere for yourself. For example, I have a desk in my room and I do my homework there. If you do not have a desk, use a table, surround yourself with books, just create a productive atmosphere for yourself. That will increase your productivity and keep you from playing the what if game with your grades. Tip number 2, know your due dates and your criteria. When classes are online, everything is much more abstract than concrete. With your in-person classes, you have a routine that you stick to, so it is much easier to remember when you have something due than in an online class. I've definitely missed due dates before, 11:59 p.m., you know, we have some history. So what I do to help myself from forgetting my assignments is, I have an agenda. If I do not write anything down on my agenda, I will forget to do it, because that's the kind of person I am. So this is how I live my life. However, not everyone is like that. So sometimes what I've done and what I've seen my friends do is people will set reminders on their phone for 24 hours before an assignment is due. That way you have one day to do it. Or, since you are taking an online class, you have your own schedule. You get to create your own schedule. So, set those reminders for however long you need for an assignment, or just when you need to get it done. Remind yourself, that's all. That's all, you need to remind yourself. And also, follow the syllabus. I don't know, I feel like this tip is very straightforward. Tip number 3 is all about distractions. It is so easy to distract yourself when you're doing work from home. I will make whatever excuse I can just to procrastinate. I am a procrastinator at heart, so I will try everything in the book just to get out of doing my assignment. Why? I don't know. It's who I am. So what you're going to find, it's not necessarily your phone or social media that's going to distract you. It's, I need to do my laundry. Oh, I need to water my plants. Little things like chores around the house that you've forgotten to do, and now that it's either doing that or homework, you'd obviously rather get that chore done. What my advice is, and what helps me, for the most part, stay on track is I will have a sticky note that is designated for my distractions. So say I'll have my work area set up, I'll have one sticky note called miscellaneous to-dos, and then every time a thought pops in my head in the middle of the lecture where I'm like, oh, you know, I forgot to water my plants, I should do that, I'll write it down on that to-do, because that is for future Stephanie to worry about. It's a priority, but not in that very moment. That way my brain says, oh, we did something about it, we wrote it down, but I don't have to get up and take action immediately. So music can sometimes be a distraction, but music can sometimes be helpful. It has been evidenced by Orion Academy that video game music will help you maintain your focus. Why? Video game music is always meant to be in the background. It's not supposed to be a distraction from the video game you are playing, and it's supposed to help you maintain focus. Its structure and how it's orchestrated is to help you maintain focus. Tip number 4 is note-taking. So everyone has their own way of taking notes. Perfectly fine, you know yourself best, so do what works best for you. However, if you find that your version of note-taking isn't really helpful for your online classes, or you're trying to find a new way to take notes, this is what I do for my classes. Only online. In person's completely different because I'm engaged in a different way. So I learned this in my B-Law class. How I set up my notes is I do them Cornell style. If you don't know what that is, basically you have a line straight down the center of the page. When I read the book, usually there's a book with your online class or your lecture. Read the book first when you can, and then only take the book notes on the left side of the page. Not the right side, the left side. Then, when you watch your lecture, whether it's on Zoom or just a pre-recorded online one, you take your notes on the right side. So, once you have something written in your notes from your book and then your professor brings that up, that's where you're gonna write that note. You know that information is relevant to the class. At the end of the notes, you'll notice that there's some blank spaces on the right side of the page. That means your professor didn't necessarily talk about that area in the book. So then you know you can cross out that information because it's not relevant to the class. After all, your instructor is the person grading anything in that class, and if they didn't bring it up, it's not that important. Also, when taking notes, pre-recorded online lectures can be over an hour long. I don't vibe with that. So, my advice to you to cut that time in half is if you go to the little toolbar or the settings wheel and you click the playback speed, put it at 2 times and you'll condense 1 hour into 30 minutes. It's the holy grail right there. Tip number 5 is on discussion posts. Personally, I hate discussion posts way more than I hate Phil Swift, the Flex Seal guy, and that's saying a lot. Discussion posts are meant to make up for the engagement you get in a classroom when there's debates or arguments or just ways to connect. However, it's just not the same online. They just suck. I get their purpose, but I've never been able to get behind them. I hate them so much. If there's one thing I'd always skip with my online classes and get a lower grade, it is the discussion posts. I just hate them. So often you will get graded on responses on discussion posts. You'll have to comment on a peer, maybe 3 of their posts or something. So what I do to help keep myself engaged is I will actually go in with the intention of disagreeing with someone's discussion post. That way I have to really thoroughly read their discussion post and then just go with the opposite. It's kind of more fun, it stirs the pot a little bit, gives you something else to do rather than saying, "Wow, Kyle, I totally agree when you said this," and then you just reiterate their entire post. They're fake, they're not genuine. It is what it is, gotta get it done. A motto that I tell myself all the time is, although discussion posts are bullshit, your degree is not. Get it done. Alright, tip number 6 is quizzes and exams. There are 2 methods when taking quizzes. The first method is, I just need to get this over with, I haven't studied anything, I'm screwed. The second method is, I know my stuff, overall I feel confident for this quiz. For the first method, all I'm gonna say is Quizlet. If you have any more questions, directly message me, we can talk about other methods there. But for the second method, this is if you've been reading the book, if you've been paying attention to the online lectures. Basically, what I do when I take my quizzes is overall, I will know the material, so I will have my notes with me. I don't necessarily use them, but it gives that comfort of, I'm not screwed if I don't know something. I don't know about anyone else, but test anxiety is a real thing. So just having that safety net is just a huge help, and overall you'll find that you don't even need to look at your notes. Something that's also great about taking notes and paying attention in class is we find that a lot of our quizzes are timed. So I prefer just being able to get through at a good pace, understand what's going on, rather than frantically search on Quizlet and freak out because I'm running out of time. I'm not saying that I've ever done that. However, I just feel more comfortable when I'm able to take my exam and not have to stress about the time. With that being said, we are moving on to tip number 7. This is the final tip, and if anything, the most important tip. Always, always, always ask your professor questions. It's no different than asking a question in class, just the response time is just going to be a little bit delayed. It doesn't matter if you have one question, if you have 20 questions, reach out to them. In fact, a lot of students who take online classes don't even reach out to their instructors. So a lot of instructors actually like it when you do message them or email them. I've had so many instructors and professors tell me, wow, thank you for responding, thank you for reaching out. No one usually does. And because of that, I'm not saying they're going to be biased to help you in the future, but when you do ask those questions, it shows that you really do care about the material you are learning about. Not only that, but when instructors teach a class or professors teach a class, it's usually because they've dedicated a lot of time in their life to learning that material. They're very passionate about it, so they're teaching it for a reason. And also, it'll make the difference between knowing something and not knowing something. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions, please comment. If you liked today's video, please like and subscribe. During this quarantine and lockdown, I'll be sure to upload a lot more videos. And with that being said, keep on keeping on. It's not easy, but we got this. All right, have a good one. Bye.